Happy Thursday on this Thursday, July 25th. Welcome to Breakfast with Bridgett, live here on News 6 Plus and ClickOrlando.com. I'm Bridgett Ellison. Great to be with you this morning, and we're getting off to that warm and humid start. Had a beautiful sunrise this morning, and we're going to check in at the Pinpoint Weather Center in a second and find out what's happening today. We also have an expert in food banks, a local expert, joining us this morning to talk about how to help in that growing demand and a great project that he has just released that is helping in a charitable way benefit food banks and his experience with what the food banks need right now across the world. So we'll look at that in a moment. We'll also talk about a big change for student athletes in Florida who will now be able to profit off of their name and image and likeness. And so what that could mean, there's a big event happening in Orlando with grade school athletes too. So we'll check in with our reporter Ezzy Castro out there for that. So first, let's get a check of that forecast. And Michelle Morgan is standing by, and Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos is a little bit under the weather. Michelle is here with us. It's great to have you, Michelle. Good morning.
Good morning to you. Thanks for having me.
How is it going? We had a beautiful sunrise, and you said that's partly because of the Saharan dust.
Yeah, we're still dealing with that dust blanketing the entire peninsula. We do expect that dust to thin out as we get closer to the weekend, but for today and tomorrow, it'll be pretty thick across the area. So it's going to do a number of things. It's going to lower the air quality across many counties, so especially for our sensitive groups. So if you have asthma, any respiratory problems, you may want to limit your time indoors or outdoors for today because that can really bother you. And our rain chances not as high. We're looking at between a 30 and 40% coverage, especially across the metro, and even lower along our coast. So if you're planning a beach day, today's going to be a pretty nice day for that.
And we talked about how this month, even though we've had quite a bit of rain chances, this is actually a pretty dry July so far, record wise.
Yeah, usually June, July into August, it is our rainiest months, but for the month of July so far, and again, we're wrapping up the month of July. Next Thursday is August 1st. I can't believe how quickly July went by and school starts, but that's another story for
I
another
know.
day. But but yeah, for Orlando, we're so far the fourth driest July on record. So even
Mm.
though, we've seen some decent downpours, but it's only rained 8 days so far for the
Hmm.
month. And many spots are still dealing with abnormally dry conditions. So a little bit more rain really wouldn't hurt. And even other cities have barely seen any rain. So yeah,
Hmm.
you're absolutely right. It has been a pretty dry July.
And so, what will it feel like today? I know we said it's hot. Are we talking like triple digits, not quite heat advisory, or what's the recipe for today?
Well, today the recipe is going to be hot, no surprise, but temperatures will be in the middle 90s, so slightly above average. And we're really not hitting that heat criteria or heat advisory criteria. Many of us are going to feel between 103, 104 degrees, and you will need to feel like 108 or even hotter to hit that
Hmm.
heat advisory criteria. But here's a look at that Saharan dust. Look at that. It's just blanketing the entire state. And that's going to linger as we head into tomorrow, then thinning out slightly heading into the weekend. But the great thing about the Saharan dust, it creates gorgeous sunrises and sunsets. Look at this sunrise in Daytona Beach. Absolutely beautiful. Really producing those vibrant colors, those oranges, a little bit of those purples and reds. It just really looks magical out there due to that Saharan dust. And we'll get another chance to see this type of scenery when the sun sets later on this evening. So make sure you send in your pictures. We love to show it on air on clickorlando.com/pins. But temperatures right now, we're in the middle to upper 70s. Look at this. We are at 77 degrees in Cape Canaveral, Titusville at 79. 80 in Melbourne and 79 in Winter Haven. Now, your forecast for today, temperatures are going to warm up quickly. We'll be in the lower 90s by lunch. It's going to be warm. It's going to be hot. Even though temperatures will be in the lower 90s by that time frame, it's going to feel like 102, 103 degrees, and then eventually hitting a daytime high of 95. Now, normally we're supposed to be at 92, so we'll be at 3 degrees above that, but nonetheless, it's just going to be hot outside, and then rain chances continuing to increase closer to sunset. Now, daytime highs across Central Florida, we're looking at 94 in Kissimmee, Claremont, Leesburg, Wildwood, 93 in DeLand. And then along our coastal cities, upper 80s, lower 90s, but keep in mind the humidity is still there, even though we are dealing with that dry, dusty air. So that's going to put our feels like temperatures around 101, 102 degrees along our coast. So as Bridget was mentioning, about our drier than normal conditions, yes, for the city of Orlando, we are ranked fourth at the moment, hitting about 2.90 inches of rainfall so far for the month. And again, these records go back to 1892. Of course, that can change, but it ain't going to change today because there's really no rain in the forecast for the metro area. Now, for the rest of Central Florida, many of us are dealing with an impressive deficit here. As we take a look at Daytona Beach, a little under or about an inch and a half. Again, you need the rain in that area. Melbourne, very dry conditions for you all. Below normal, about 3.19 inches there. So it's been very dry for a few cities, and unfortunately not a whole lot of rain in the forecast for those cities. Now, talking about rain here, as we take a look at a high resolution model, pretty dry through the morning, heading into the early afternoon hours. Around 6, 7 o'clock, we get the East Coast and the West Coast sea breezes going. Right along that boundary is where we're going to see the scattered rain and a few embedded thunderstorms. This model indicated along the I-75 corridor, seeing most of the shower and rain activity around that time frame. Fast forwarding things to 8, 9 o'clock, showers and storms now shifting around the I-4 corridor, portions of Lake County extending into Flagler County, and they'll be quick. And then heading into tonight, we're continuing to see that setup, and then showers and storms slowly fading away as we head into the overnight hours. Clouds are still stubborn, so expect mostly cloudy conditions, but at least things will begin to dry out. Now switching gears to what's going on in the tropics. Right now, there are no tropical concerns for Florida, but again, we are heading into August, and we usually see an increase in tropical activity. Watching this wave now emerging off the coast of Africa, very impressive. It's a large wave. The National Hurricane Center hasn't highlighted anything, but we'll watch this wave very closely. It could possibly develop into something, try to organize as it moves westward across the Atlantic basin. But keep in mind, there's still plenty of Saharan dust, that dry, dusty air, still moving across the Atlantic basin. So it is going to interact with that. But again, there's still a chance where this could develop into something. And the peak of hurricane season is September 10th. So we're getting closer to that time frame. But as of right now, there are really no tropical concerns. We have plenty of time to watch this tropical wave as it moves across the ocean. So I'll leave you with your 7-day forecast. Pretty standard. Temperatures will be in the middle 90s today, tomorrow heading into the weekend. Now, rain chances not as high as we're usually seeing, but as we head into the weekend, I do expect that Saharan dust to thin out, and because of that, our rain chances are going to go up just a touch as we head into our Saturday and Sunday. Still hot, and then we're at 60% Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So pretty standard for the summer season.
Very nice. All right. Thank you, Michelle. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'll see you in a little bit.
No problem. See you in a little bit.
All right. We want to check in with Trooper Steve. He is standing by right there in the center as well, the traffic center. And we had a look at some cute pets this morning during some of the forecasts. And you're going to go see some more pets today, Steve, I understand. Good morning. Oh, is your mic off? Is your mic off? There you go.
There we go. Mm-hmm. I had muted it so you didn't get the echo between Michelle and I going on there. So there isn't a month that doesn't go by where we're not going to make sure that we visit Orange County Animal Services since we started that partnership. We are 100% for adoption so far. We had a scare almost with Boo, but we got him a family. So today we'll be back out there today. You know, our streams do fluctuate here and there. So today we'll be out there at 10:30 at clickorlando.com, News 6 Plus, and the News 6 app. And if you're looking for an addition to your family, a four-legged friend, or you know somebody that is, you're going to want to watch this because it doesn't matter what dog, what cat we meet, they're always amazing and they're always special. So it's always fun to chat with them. So that's going to be at 10:30 today over at clickorlando.com.
All right. Looking forward to that. And how are the roads today?
Roads aren't too bad. I'll give you a quick run through real fast here. We do have one issue out there, and I'll get to that in about slide 4. 528 looking pretty good. Your drive times on I-4 about average 32 minutes, Kissimmee to downtown. Now, this looks good. Volusia, not too bad. As you make your way westbound this morning into Sanford, we have a problem. Northbound 417 right now over at H.E. Thomas, which is 46A. That's my exit to go home. We do have a crash off to the right-hand side. We were super slow out here, but it looks like FHP and the Road Ranger has those lanes currently moving. And I got to give my brothers and sisters a shout out at the Seminole County Sheriff's Office because they're out there as well. You can see a brief slowdown there, the red after Old Lake Mary Boulevard, that orange icon indicating a quick slowdown. So be careful. If you travel through here, you know that road is serious curve to the right. Eastbound Maitland, a little slow as you approach Bear Lake, but no major problems this morning. We're actually in decent shape across Central Florida, the Turnpike and 429 looking good. Your ramp there coming from Old Winter Garden. You like that nice little curve in the graphic? I'm slowly learning to get fancy with this stuff. Things look good. Michelle's laughing at me. She is a Baron's queen at this stuff. So the Turnpike, and then we come towards Claremont. You have those routine delays as you make your way towards the Turnpike. Bridgett, all in all, not too bad of a morning. As long as people are paying attention, we'll be fine. And then, of course, please join us at 10:30 so we can find whatever this fur baby is I'm going to meet. I'm sure it's going to be loving on me, and it's going to smell all over, and it's going to be great. So join me.
All right. We'll see you then.
Bye, Bridgett.
Thank you, Trooper Steve. All right, so we have a few news stories we want to tell you about, and then we will head over to our live guest this morning to talk about food banks and hunger relief in just a moment. But first, Ezzy Castro has more on the State Board of Education approving some new rules for high school athletes to be able to be paid for their likeness and to benefit off of their image and personal branding. So here she is with more.
The Florida Board of Education is moving forward with a proposal to allow high school athletes to earn money for their personal brands. It's known as Name, Image, and Likeness, or NIL, and basically it will allow student athletes to benefit from endorsements.
At the end of the day, the number one priority is protecting the student athletes. This could be a great opportunity for some student athletes, right? But we want to make sure that they do it in a manner that they're protected and not exploited.
There are some rules, though. Students wouldn't be able to use logos or uniforms without permission, and they'll have guidelines on the types of NIL deals students can accept. Board member Esther Bird says she does have concerns and suggested the association require students to register when participating in NIL deals.
I am very concerned about the bad actors. I mean, obviously they've already popped up. We know it's coming. We know that they don't care about our rules and they're going to do what they want to do.
So we'll be watching for developments with those changes in those rules and laws. Now we want to talk about World Drowning Prevention Day, and News 6's Mark Lehman has more about some efforts happening here locally.
Okay, jump. Woo-hoo! Go ahead. Swim, swim, swim.
At Oviedo's Riverside Park Pool, instructors have been busy all summer teaching all ages how to swim.
We have programs as young as 6 months all the way up to adults.
Aquatic supervisor Kristen Stansell says the lessons save lives. It's an important reminder on World Drowning Prevention Day.
It's one of the leading causes of fatalities in kids under 5, the kids with special needs, all people really, and especially in Florida.
But the price to learn could be out of reach for some. That's why the state of Florida put a law in place this month that gives vouchers for free swim lessons to kids under 4 if their family income is less than 200% of the federal poverty level.
So we went to the state of Florida's WaterSmart website to find out how you can apply for a swim lesson voucher online. Keep in mind, this was supposed to be in place on July 1st. Even so, take a look. The website says the portal is still in the final stages of development.
Thank you for calling the Florida Department of Health.
I went searching for answers about the delay.
I was wondering why the online registration portal is not yet available on your website.
But so far, we haven't heard back from the state. Meanwhile, those here are continuing their efforts to build up confidence in the pool.
We really try to hit all bases so that everyone can feel confident and continue to grow in the water.
All right, and we hope to get more answers about why the registration's not open yet for those swimming lessons, but we'll keep you updated as we learn more. Now, we want to talk to our live guest, former CEO of Second Harvest Food Bank, Dave Krepko, is with us. Good morning.
Good morning. Good to be
It's
here.
it's great to see you again, and we're excited to talk about your new project, Empty Plates: The Evolution of Hunger Relief Until All Are Fed. And I want to know more about the inspiration to put this together.
Right. Well, I was in the food bank area for 34 years across the country. And when I retired, I realized nobody has recorded the history of this incredible movement across the United States. And I mean, literally tens of billions, hundreds of billions of pounds over the years have been provided, through this Feeding America network of food banks. And so I wanted to record that history. And then, the second reason was I wanted to hopefully enlighten the audience more about hunger relief and who's hungry and why. And most importantly, what can we do about it, right? Because I
Mm-hmm.
truly believe we can end hunger, not just fight it, right?
Right.
So everybody's got a role in it. So I thought those are really critical elements, and also through this book, that by reading it, that we can create change in the way that we approach this incredible challenge of hunger relief and how we do things, how we approach it. So.
What are some of the things that many people are surprised to learn through your book and through the research that's gone into telling this story?
Right. And I do have a lot of stories in the book. I interviewed just over 100 people across the United States and got different perspectives. But one of them is just the stereotypes that are held of people, our neighbors in need.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a really important chapter on who are these folks and why are they in this situation and how hard they're trying to get out of that situation. So really trying to put a face on our neighbors in need, because the need has not gone away.
Mm-hmm.
I was just talking to the CEO, my successor at Second Harvest yesterday, and he was telling me they have this food finder uh, thing on their website, and people inquire, right, on where they can get food. He said compared to last year, they are up 90% in
Mm-hmm.
requests for food. So
Yeah.
um, big issue, big
Mm-hmm.
issue. But we can do something about it.
Well, I want to talk to you about that moment when you retired in 2021. The pandemic was happening, and now we're post pandemic, but we've learned that the demand has been ever increasing during this period of
Yes.
time. And what do you make of that? And how can people be most effective in helping support the food banks and those who are hungry?
Right. Well, with the demand still being high, and there's a lot of factors involved, but it's the lack of affordable housing, it's decent wages and benefits at a job, it's health care. We need public transportation for folks. So there's a number of factors, but how people can get involved, depending on uh, who you are, where you're coming from, whether it's a school age child or a business executive or somebody in between there, we all can provide something to the picture. We need to fight hunger today, day by day, because the kids need to be fed. But we also need to look to the future on how we work smarter. So folks can help obviously by donating their time as a volunteer or food, especially if you're a food business, at greater volumes, or our local farmers are just terrific in donating crops, or finances, the money that it costs to move millions and millions of pounds of food and get it to people. The other way, and this isn't for everybody, but I think it's really important, is to be an advocate for our neighbors in need. And what that means is, hey, holding our elected officials accountable for, serving us, the citizens, and what are they doing in their local districts to help these folks. So it involves, local, state, federal government. So there's a lot that can be done.
How do you view things from the global standpoint and then, down to the local standpoint when it comes to hunger?
Right. I think from a global point of view, And in my book, there is a section about that and over the centuries, and what's caused it. On a global point of view, a lot of it is caused by, unfortunately, we have two horrible wars going on, right? With Gaza and Israel and Ukraine and Russia. And that has disrupted, exports and imports of food and farmers' ability to grow the crop and retailers to sell the crop. So globally, currently, wars are a big thing. And over time, it has been. And there has been parts of the world that are just become very, very vulnerable to massive drought, in parts of Africa and that. So, so it's a bit different on an international scale, and locally here in the U.S., we have enough food. Okay, let's just get it distributed. We have the resources as a nation to take care of this issue. Right back after, when we were getting out of COVID, the president put in a child tax credit. That might sound kind of wonky to people, but what that did was it reduced childhood poverty by 50%. And that was significant. But I guess that made too much sense, and Congress went on to other things. But we have to make hunger relief a priority. Eating, having food is a basic, I believe, human right. Nobody, especially in this country, should go to bed hungry.
Mm-hmm. And so that's why your project, the book Empty Plates Until All Are Fed, it's benefiting food banks and it's going to help feed people.
Mm-hmm. Right. I thought it's really important that part of the proceeds goes, and they will go to Second Harvest Food Bank here in Central Florida. They will always be near and dear to my heart in the years I spent there. But they are doing tremendous work, and every dollar that can be provided, they can distribute so many meals. So what I'd like to say is, if you decide to buy this book, Empty Plates, okay, you not only get a good read, but you do a good deed.
That's great. And you have a book signing coming up on August 8th at Second Harvest from 5:30 to 7. So hope many folks come out. And you can also order it on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. So this is great. And congratulations on putting this together.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
You.
Hope to see you again
a lot
soon.
of viewers there. Hope to see a lot of the viewers at the signing.
Yes, this is great. We'll be able to share more about this later today in some of our other newscasts. So thank you so much, Mr. Krepko, for joining us.
All right. Thank you, Bridgett.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So that's Empty Plates, and we'll be posting more on clickorlando.com. Now we want to get to a story about National Hire a Veteran Day, and here's News 6 anchor Justin Wormuth with that story.
I needed help because it came to be too much.
Returning to civilian life proved to be more challenging than U.S. Army veteran Jacqueline Etienne ever imagined.
And I felt alone a lot of times.
After being stationed at Fort Stewart in Georgia for 4.5 years, she was medically discharged in 2012 and didn't know where to turn.
I felt like no one could understand what I was going through.
She finally found CareerSource Central Florida and their team dedicated to helping veterans. The mom of two, now on the path she was searching for.
How excited are you about the future?
You guys can't see it now because I'm sitting down, but I'm jumping up and down, and I'm excited because it's amazing to have people in your corner.
Anthony Harris is one of those people, a Gulf War vet who helps other veterans every day.
I go out to different companies, I shop their resume, I go to job fairs for them. When I got out, there wasn't those resources. And I think that's why it took so long for me to find what I needed to find.
What he found was a team who shared his passion for helping military families.
We go all out to try to help our veterans.
In the last year, CareerSource Central Florida served more than 2,200 veterans and was recently awarded the Purple Star for exceptional service to the veteran community.
We give them the confidence to go to those employers to say, hey, I can do this job.
Justin Wormuth, getting results, News 6.
Great story there. Also, we want to tell you about our contest on clickorlando.com for the insiders. You want to enter to win some Monster Jam tickets. We're giving away 5 family fun packs of 4 tickets. And this is going to be a great time. It's coming up not this weekend, but next weekend over at the Kia Center. So it's indoors. Going to be a great time. Go online, clickorlando.com/insider for your chance to win. You can enter from now through July 30th. So good luck on that. And it is free to sign up to be an insider. And always you can enter these contests as many times as you want just between the deadlines. So good luck. And that's going to do it for us here on Breakfast with Bridgett. I'll see you for News 6 at noon. And up next is Weather-Wise with meteorologist Jonathan Kegas, then Trooper Steve on patrol, plus streaming live at 10:30 from Orange County Animal Services. So we'll see you then. Take care.